Hi everyone, welcome to Music Body Mind. My name is Amelia and I'm a trombonist and yoga teacher. I'm really excited about this video today because I'm going to show you 11 of my favorite hip opening poses. If you have a job that requires you to sit for a long period of time, you've probably experienced your hips feeling really tight after that. I'm a musician, I sit in rehearsals, and my hips feel cranky afterwards. Maybe you can relate. So I'm going to show you 11 hip opening poses that will help your hips feel healthy and happy. You might need a yoga block to do some of these poses, so if you have a yoga block, go grab that before we get started. When I show you all of these poses, I'll just be setting you up into the pose. If you're doing this video along with me, then pause the video between each pose so you can hold each pose for 5 deep breaths. Let's get started. The first hip opening pose I'm going to show you is called triangle pose. You'll start with your feet pretty wide, at least 3 or 4 feet between your feet. Feet are parallel to each other, and then turn just your right toes out to the side. Reach your arms out, take a deep breath in, lift up tall, and then as you exhale, hinge at your hips, leaning as far to the right side as possible. Drop your right hand down to your shin, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling, and this is Trikonasana or triangle pose. It might also be nice to use a block, placing a block on the inside of your right foot, and you can take your right hand down to that block instead of to your shin if that's more comfortable for you. Of course, when you're done, lift all the way back up to the top. Switch sides by turning your right toes in, left toes out, lean to the left, and take that left arm down. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. The next pose will also start with your feet really wide. Take a block right between your legs if your hips are feeling tight. Then take your hands to your hips, lift up tall, inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward into a wide straddle forward fold. You can drop your hands down to that block. Maybe they touch the ground, maybe not. Wherever you are, let your head drop down and just breathe. If you want to add a shoulder opener, you have the option to take your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers and reaching your palms back as you fold forward. The last standing hip opening pose that I'm going to show you also starts with your legs wide, but instead of your feet straight forward, this time turn your toes out to the side. Take your hands to your hips, lift up tall, inhale, and as you exhale, bend into your knees so they track right over your toes. Sink your hips down as low as you can go. This is goddess pose. If you want to start to open up your chest a little bit more, you can also take your arms out to the side. Focus on your elbows coming back, your shoulders dropping down. For the next couple hip openers, we'll be starting in a tabletop position on our hands and our knees. So come forward, fingers spread wide underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then you'll step your right foot as far forward as possible, propping yourself up onto your front thigh. Make sure that your knee is right over your ankle and doesn't go past your ankle. If it does, take a bigger stance. You can stay right here, lifting tall as you inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward, letting your hips slide forward. If you think that you can go deeper, maybe take your hands down to a block on the inside of your front leg. You also have the option to come down onto your forearms, maybe on a block, maybe all the way to the ground. Once you've found a nice stretch, breathe deeply. Of course, when you're done, make sure you switch sides. The next pose is called pigeon pose. You'll start in that same tabletop position, and then slide your right knee forward to the inside of your right wrist. Turn your right foot in towards the center. Tuck your back toes under and start to walk your left leg as far back as possible. If your hips are tight, then take a block and place it underneath your right hip so it elevates that hip and it's more comfortable for you. Lift up tall, inhale. You can stay here if this feels good. If you want to take it deeper, maybe come forward, folding forward. Option to come onto your forearms here as well and breathe deeply. To come out of this pose, gently press yourself back up onto your hands. Tuck your back toes under, push into your hands and slide your right knee back. Always switch sides to make sure that your body is balanced. The next hip opening pose is one of my favorites. It's called Yogi Squat. You'll start by taking your feet a little bit wider than hip width, toes pointing out, and then you'll let your hips drop down towards the ground for Yogi Squat. If you have really tight hips, it might be nice to take a block underneath your seat so it's more comfortable for you. When you find a comfortable place, draw your hands to heart center, lift up really tall, maybe press your knees knees back with your elbows, and breathe. The next 3 hip openers can be done seated. The first one we'll do is called head to knee pose. You'll start with your legs out long in front of you. Lift up really tall through your spine, and then draw one knee in towards your body. Take it out to the side. If your hips are tight, take a block underneath that knee for a little extra support. Continue to pull your front foot back towards your face. Inhale to lengthen, and then as you exhale, walk your hands forward, hinging at the hips, and breathe deeply into the stretch. As always, switch sides when you are done, and breathe deeply on the other side. The next pose is called bound angle. You'll start with your feet together, and then take your knees wide to open up your hips. Take your hands to your feet, thumbs on the bottom of your feet. Start to open up your feet like a book. This will help you get a little deeper into your hips. And then lift up tall, inhale, deep breaths out. You can stay right here if your hips are feeling tight. If you think you can go a little bit deeper, lift up as you inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward at your hips. The final pose I'll show you is called cow face pose. You'll start with your feet propped up, and then take your right leg down, your knee pointing straight forward. Then walk your left leg up and over. So for some of you, this might be really tight already, and you can just stay right here, breathing deeply, maybe lifting up tall so you can feel a nice stretch in your hips. If you can go deeper, start to walk your top foot back. So eventually the knees come towards each other, and you have a straight line going from one foot all the way to the other foot across your body. If this is okay for you, lift up taller, inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward. To switch sides, unwind your legs, place your opposite knee straight forward, walk your other leg on top. And I'll show you another variation to this pose. The full expression of the pose uses a shoulder opener as well. So you'll take the opposite arm of your top leg up, take your hand behind your back, grab onto that top elbow, lift up tall, inhale, and then exhale, hinge from here, and you'll not only get a hip stretch, but you also get a shoulder stretch. The final 2 poses I'm going to show you are reclining poses. So when you're ready, roll onto your back. When you get there, draw your feet in towards your body. The first one we'll do is called a figure 4 position. Take one leg straight up towards the ceiling, and then bend that knee out to the side. Take your ankle onto your opposite knee. Keep this foot flexed to protect your knee, so pull your toes back towards your shin. And you can breathe here if that feels good. Maybe take your hand out and gently press your thigh away from your body. If you want to go deeper, then lift that bottom foot up off the ground, draw your legs in towards your body, hands come behind your thigh to gently guide your legs closer. Continue to press this knee away from your body, both feet stay flexed. Release that, and of course, always switch sides. The final hip opening pose for you today is called Happy Baby Pose, and it's always my students' favorite pose to do at the end of a yoga class. You'll lift your feet up and then take your knees wide out to the side. Hands reach for the bottom of your feet to gently guide your knees a little bit deeper. If you can't reach your feet, then just grab onto your shins or whatever you can reach. Whenever you find a comfortable place, it might feel good to rock back and forth and give your low back a little massage, and breathe deeply. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope your hips feel happy after all of those stretches. This video was a request from a trombonist I met last week at the International Trombone Festival. If you have any requests for videos, send them my way. I'd love to make a video that you request. Until next time, follow my other social media pages, Instagram and Facebook. I'm posting over there all the time so you can stay up to date between my YouTube videos. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and until next time, namaste.